In 2026, humanity stands closer than ever to achieving the dream of a flawless body. Advanced biological laboratories are no longer focused solely on healing disease. They are quietly redefining the very concept of beauty and perfection. Skin, once simply a natural part of the human body, has become a modifiable project. Scars, wrinkles, and the visible traces of time are no longer accepted as part of a person's story. They are increasingly treated as defects to be corrected. With the rise of cellular regeneration technologies, gene editing, and AI-driven dermatology systems, human beings are gradually acquiring a power once attributed only to the divine: the ability to erase the past as it is written into the body. Within this context, a deeply paradoxical question emerges, one that is not merely theological, but strikes at the foundation of modern thinking itself. If a body can reach a state of absolute perfection, free from disease and damage, why would it retain scars? This question becomes especially striking when considered through the image of Christ after the resurrection. A body described as glorified, incorruptible, and beyond the limitations of ordinary physical existence, yet still bearing the marks of wounds once endured. Here, the tension between two worldviews becomes unmistakable. On one side stands the modern world, where perfection is equated with the removal of all signs of injury. On the other side is an entirely different vision, a perfect body that does not erase its history. This contrast leads to a radical proposition. Perhaps scars are not flaws in the body, but a form of data, not merely biological data, but existential data. They do not only testify to what happened, they reveal how a person has lived, loved, suffered, and chosen. Seen from this perspective, perfection is no longer defined by the smoothness of a surface, but by the capacity to carry one's entire history without being destroyed by it. A perfect body, in this sense, is not one that has never been wounded, but one that has passed through wounds without losing itself. Divine perfection, therefore, is not the act of erasing the past, but of transforming it and preserving it within glory. From this point, the paradox of perfection in modern culture becomes clearer. Contemporary society subtly enforces a standard: flawless skin equals personal value. Curated images on social media, advertisements for ageless beauty, and near miraculous restoration treatments all reinforce the belief that any visible sign of damage or aging is a form of failure. Aging is no longer understood as a natural process. It is framed as a problem to be solved. The body is no longer a living narrative, but a product in constant need of optimization. In this world, the concept of a skin reset is more than a technological term. It is a cultural symbol. It represents the desire to wipe away every trace of time, as if the past itself could be undone. But here, a deeper question arises. If we succeed in erasing all physical evidence of what has happened to us, what remains to prove that we have truly lived? In contrast stands the image of a glorified body, not glorious because it lacks wounds, but because those wounds no longer signify destruction. They are not defects, they are testimonies. Each scar becomes an irreplaceable mark, a signature of personal history that cannot be replicated or engineered. While modern technology may one day produce perfect visual replicas of the human form, these marks carry a depth, that no algorithm can reproduce. The depth of experience, of choice, of freedom. From a theological and philosophical standpoint, this reframes the meaning of scars entirely. They are no longer signs of weakness, but evidence of something greater. A scar testifies that there was once injury, but it also declares that the body was not ultimately destroyed by it. It is proof that love has a cause, that freedom has been exercised, that life has not been lived in numbness or detachment. To remove a scar, then, is not merely to erase a physical mark. It is, in a sense, to erase a form of embodied memory. The body, in this view, is not just a biological structure, but a living archive, a place where personal history is recorded not in words, but in matter itself. To erase scars is to delete a layer of material memory. To preserve them, by contrast, is not to glorify suffering, but to sanctify memory, to transform what was once pain into meaning. At this point, the divergence between two definitions of perfection becomes unmistakable. One seeks to eliminate every trace of the past in order to achieve an artificial state of untouched purity. The other accepts that true perfection does not lie in never having been wounded, but in the ability to carry one's entire history without being diminished by it. And perhaps it is precisely within scars, the very things modern culture is striving to erase, that the deepest definition of what it means to be human is quietly preserved. The challenge posed by the glorified body becomes even more striking when viewed against the lens of Gnostic thought, a worldview that has long cast the material realm as inherently flawed, if not illusory. Within Gnosis, the physical world is often perceived as a lower order plane, a shadowy veil obscuring the true reality of the divine. Salvation, in this context, is imagined not as the transformation of matter, but as its abandonment, an escape from the body, from the tangible universe, into a purely spiritual existence. The body, with all its scars, limitations, and decay, is seen as a cage, a container for the soul that must ultimately be transcended. The Gnostic ideal is liberation through negation of the physical, a liberation that views matter as an obstacle rather than an instrument of divine purpose. Yet here, the scars of a glorified body pose a profound rebuttal to such thinking. These scars are no longer signs of injury or imperfection. They are evidence of materiality elevated, of matter redeemed and sanctified. They exist not as ephemeral marks that fade with time, but as enduring traces embedded in a body that has been transformed, glorified, and made incorruptible. The scars themselves are proof that matter is not to be discarded, it is to be honored, preserved, and refined. In this light, the material world is neither base nor illusory. It is capable of participation in eternity. Matter does not simply persist, it is perfected. It is rescued from entropy, not by fleeing it, but by being fully integrated into a higher order of existence. This realization carries deep philosophical implications. If the material body can bear scars and yet be glorified, then the human being is not a soul trapped in a mortal shell, nor a spirit imprisoned in a decaying vessel. Rather, humans emerge as holistic entities, the union of soul and body fully realized, each inseparable from the other in the expression of existence. The body, far from being a hindrance to the spirit, becomes the medium through which identity, experience, and history are conserved and communicated. The human person is no longer a dualistic tension between ephemeral flesh and eternal spirit, but a continuous unified presence in which physicality and consciousness are coextensive and mutually sustaining. In this perspective, salvation and perfection are not about escape, they are about embodiment, about matter, time, and history being elevated to participate in a reality beyond decay. This principle becomes even more tangible when we consider the mechanics of invulnerability as expressed in a glorified body. A scar, once permanent, is not merely a mark. It is the emblem of a body that has transcended fragility. Disease, decay, and degradation, those hallmarks of biological mortality, no longer hold dominion. The scars endure, yet the organism itself is impervious to breakdown. The history of the body, its experiences, its struggles, are physically manifest and yet immune to corruption. In a sense, this is the ultimate reconciliation of temporality and eternity. The body remembers, even as it transcends. Comparing this to contemporary scientific attempts at longevity sharpens the contrast. Modern medicine in 2026 has made remarkable strides. Telomeres can be lengthened, cellular aging slowed, and metabolic deterioration mitigated. Biohacking, stem cell therapies, and genetic interventions promise to extend life, even to a degree once thought miraculous. Yet these efforts confront an unyielding boundary: entropy. No matter how advanced, the biological system remains vulnerable. Cells still deteriorate, DNA accumulates damage, and structural integrity is ultimately compromised. Perfection is always provisional. The body remains subject to decay, and any marks of history are either erased or at risk of destruction. Modern science can delay the inevitable, but it cannot integrate permanence into the very substance of life itself. The resurrected, glorified body, by contrast, requires no continual repair or intervention. It possesses intrinsic incorruptibility, a robustness built not on external technology, but on the transformation of its own substance. It is self-sustaining, resistant to degradation, yet fully retains the signs of its past, scars, marks, and all. This is a form of immortality that is fundamentally different from the technological prolongation pursued in contemporary laboratories. It is not longevity extended artificially. It is a body whose very nature is aligned with eternity. The scars, then, are not failures or imperfections. They are triumphs. They testify that experience and memory can coexist with indestructibility, that history can be preserved within a body that is no longer constrained by the usual vulnerabilities of flesh. In this way, the mechanics of invulnerability demonstrate a profound truth. The perfection of a glorified body is not its flawlessness, but its capacity to incorporate imperfection into its very structure. Where contemporary science fears entropy and seeks to erase every trace of damage, the resurrected form embraces its history, even the painful elements, as integral to its identity and its glory. Scars, in this context, are not residual trauma. They are symbols of continuity, resilience, and sanctified matter. They encode the narrative of life in a body that can no longer be broken, a living archive of love, choice, struggle, and endurance. By reframing the body in this way, we arrive at a vision of human embodiment that is radically different from both the Gnostic dismissal of matter and the modern obsession with cosmetic perfection. The body is neither cage nor artifact. It is the vessel of experience, memory, and identity, fully capable of participating in an eternal order. Scars are no longer signs of imperfection. They are affirmations of integration, proof that what was once vulnerable has been made eternal, that matter itself can carry meaning, and that the human being is a unified whole in which the soul and body coalesce into a reality that transcends both fragility and illusion. The integration of biology, physics, and consciousness in a glorified body reveals a paradox that challenges our conventional understanding of the physical world. In this form, the body experiences material pleasures fully. It can eat and taste, it can touch and feel, it can interact with other beings and with the environment in ways that are unmistakably physical. Yet simultaneously, it transcends the familiar limits of space. One can imagine it moving effortlessly, interacting with the environment in dimensions and at scales inaccessible to ordinary matter. This is not a ghostly or ethereal existence. It is not a body that merely appears real while remaining intangible. Instead, it is matter itself, fully present and fully physical, operating in a heightened state of energy, a form of matter that exceeds three-dimensional constraints without losing its essential tangibility. This leads to a radical model of being. The body is not non-material. It is hypermaterial, matter elevated to a state where energy, information, and consciousness coalesce into a single, unified system. In this system, matter is no longer passive or merely reactive. It is active, intelligent, and responsive. The traditional rules of thermodynamics, the limits imposed by entropy and decay, no longer govern its behavior. Instead, the body functions as a harmonized matrix in which physical, informational, and conscious processes operate in synchrony, generating a self-sustaining, self-renewing system. Here, the lines between biology, physics, and consciousness blur, suggesting a universe in which the material and immaterial are not opposites but complementary aspects of the same integrated reality. The scientific implications of such a body are profound. If matter, information, and consciousness are combined into a unified operational system, then the human being is no longer subject to conventional decay. Biological processes continue without degradation. Memory, identity, and historical experience are preserved in a material form that is robust yet flexible. Sensory experience remains vivid, the capacity for interaction undiminished, yet the organism is free from the limitations that ordinarily bind life to entropy. In essence, tinasay na form na being where the tabama, the living archive of identity, the body itself, is immortal, and yet vibrantly alive, capable of engagement with the universe on both material and higher dimensional planes. From this perspective, we must reconsider the very design of the human being. DNA, often understood as a biochemical instruction set for proteins, becomes far more than a code. It is a repository of identity, a tangible signature of individuality embedded in matter. The molecular structure of DNA, in this context, is not merely functional, it is expressive. It carries not only instructions for physical form and biological function, but also an encoded memory of who the individual is. their experiences, choices, and lineage. The body, far from being a neutral vessel, becomes an expression of the self in every molecule, every strand of genetic material, a thread in the tapestry of identity. This understanding offers a stark contrast to contemporary technological concepts such as mind uploading. While modern science experiments with creating digital copies of consciousness, the result is, at best, a replica, a simulation of thought, a shadow of the original self. Such digital minds may recall memories, replicate decision patterns, or even mimic personality traits, but they lack continuity. They are not you, they are data projected to resemble you. There is no guarantee that the original consciousness, the embodied self, with its unique interplay of experience, emotion, and perception, persists. The continuity that defines personhood, that binds identity across time and experience, is absent. In other words, mind uploading produces a copy, but not the living archive that is the self in its fullest sense. The resurrected, glorified body, by contrast, preserves identity in an unbroken continuum. Memory is inscribed in matter itself. Identity is maintained in the very substance of the organism. History is encoded not only in neurons or digital files, but in the fabric of the body and its scars, in the molecular signatures of DNA, and in the harmonized operation of matter and consciousness. Continuity is absolute. This body is not merely immortal in the sense of surviving indefinitely. It is immortal in a deeply qualitative way. It retains its individuality, its personal narrative, and its integrity across time and space. The self is neither fragmented nor replicated. It is conserved and elevated, integrated into a form of being that is at once material, conscious, and eternal. In this light, the paradoxes of pleasure, physicality, and transcendence are resolved. The glorified body can savor the world, the texture of food, the warmth of touch, the sensation of air and water, while simultaneously operating beyond conventional spatial and temporal limits. The body is fully present in the universe, yet participates in realities inaccessible to ordinary matter. It is an embodiment in which physical experience, conscious awareness, and historical continuity converge, forming a single, coherent, and invulnerable system. This model fundamentally redefines what it means to be human. Humanity is not a disembodied spirit navigating a material cage, nor is it a digitized consciousness attempting to preserve itself in a virtual archive. It is a unified, integrated being whose materiality, consciousness, and history are inseparable and inviolable. DNA, scars, and bodily experience are not liabilities or imperfections. They are essential instruments in the orchestration of eternal selfhood. In this framework, the body is a living monument to continuity, a vessel in which identity, memory, and matter have been perfected, and in which the full expression of human being, physical, conscious, historical, and eternal, is realized in its most complete form. In the contemporary imagination, aging has become synonymous with failure. Every wrinkle, every sign of physical decline is interpreted not as a natural progression, but as a defect, a malfunction of the human system. Death itself is framed as the ultimate error, the final glitch in the biological algorithm. Modern society has responded with an array of interventions aimed at combating this perceived imperfection. Anti-aging therapies, regenerative medicine, telomere extension, and sophisticated biohacking techniques. These efforts reflect an underlying anxiety, a collective fear of the inevitable, that time will erode both body and identity, that the narrative of the self will be interrupted, and that the material form will betray the consciousness it houses. Yet the resurrected, glorified body challenges this paradigm at its very foundation. In this framework, aging is not a failure but a process of transformation. It is not the cessation of existence, but a preparation for a higher state of being. Every stage of life, every experience, every scar functions as a calibration for integration into a form that transcends ordinary temporal and physical limitations. The process of aging is the rehearsal for elevation. It is the training ground in which identity, consciousness, and matter harmonize to produce a body capable of indestructibility and continuity. Where contemporary culture sees deterioration, the resurrected perspective sees maturation, refinement, and alignment with a higher order. From this vantage point, the biohacking movement, for all its technological sophistication, appears limited. Its focus is narrowly temporal: extend life, postpone decline, and optimize performance within the existing framework of biology. While these interventions may delay the signs of aging and reduce vulnerability to disease, they do not address the fundamental purpose of existence. They preserve the vessel, yet fail to cultivate the continuity of identity or to integrate matter, consciousness, and history into an enduring system. Longevity becomes an end in itself rather than a means to transcendence. By contrast, the glorified body reframes the objective. The goal is not mere survival, but integration, continuity, and participation in a reality where time, matter, and consciousness are aligned toward eternal functionality. This individual transformation naturally expands to a cosmic scale. If a perfected body demonstrates the potential for matter to participate in eternity, it implies that the universe itself is not irredeemably corrupt or ephemeral. The resurrection paradigm envisions not merely upgraded individuals, but the renewal of the entire environment. The material world is not something to be abandoned or transcended. It is something to be restored, optimized, and elevated. Where Gnostic thought might urge escape from the physical, this model asserts engagement and enhancement. The scars, textures, and material realities of existence are not eliminated. They are harmonized, refined, and brought into alignment with a higher order of function. Every particle, every ecosystem, every structure participates in the coherence of the renewed cosmos, echoing the perfection of the resurrected individual. In this vision, transcendence does not mean leaving the world behind. The goal is not to escape matter or to flee from entropy, but to reclaim it, to transform the material into an instrument of continuity and excellence. Matter is not an obstacle to immortality. It is the medium through which immortality is realized. The cosmos itself, like the glorified body, can preserve history, memory, and identity within its structures, while simultaneously operating at a state of peak efficiency. Energy, matter, and consciousness are integrated across scales, producing a universe that is dynamic, resilient, and perfectly attuned. Where the physical world was once seen as flawed or limited, it becomes a canvas for perfection. an arena in which creative, ethical, and physical action coalesce to sustain enduring reality. The implications for human action are profound. Caring for one's own body is inseparable from caring for the environment because both participate in the same system of integration. Every act of attention, cultivation, or restoration contributes to the harmonization of matter and consciousness at multiple scales. Individual flourishing becomes inseparable from cosmic renewal. In this framework, ethics, aesthetics, and functionality converge, nurturing the self, the community, and the material world are mutually reinforcing imperatives. Humanity is not a passive inhabitant of a decaying universe, nor a manipulator of resources for ephemeral gain. Instead, humans are co-creators, agents who, through the cultivation of their own perfected bodies, contribute to the ongoing restoration and optimization of the cosmos itself. This vision redefines temporality as well. In a conventional approach, time is a resource to be extended, a quantity to be measured and preserved on, with the ultimate aim now not delaying death. In contrast, the resurrected framework situates time as a medium for transformation and integration. Past, present, and future are interwoven. Memory, identity, and experience persist not as fleeting phenomena but as enduring components of an evolving system. Scars, history, and narrative are not liabilities to be erased. They are structural elements that support continuity. Time is no longer the enemy of the body or consciousness. It is the instrument through which the integration of matter, memory, and meaning is realized. Ultimately, this perspective reveals a universe in which the perfectibility of the individual and the restoration of the cosmos are inseparable. Perfection is not achieved by fleeing matter, erasing scars, or artificially prolonging life. It is realized through engagement, harmonization, and elevation. The body is perfected by integrating its history and maintaining continuity. The world is perfected by preserving structure while optimizing function. Aging becomes transformation, scars become sanctified memory, and material reality itself participates in eternal life. Matter, consciousness, and history coalesce into a unified system in which both the individual and the cosmos flourish, resilient, uncorrupted, and fully optimized. In this integrated vision, humanity's responsibility becomes clear. To honor and cultivate the body is to participate in the restoration of the world. To nurture the environment is to sustain the continuity of life itself. The resurrected body exemplifies a principle that extends beyond the individual. Continuity, integrity, and flourishing are achieved not through escape, negation, or avoidance, but through integration and transformation. The universe, like the glorified individual, is not abandoned to decay. It is redeemed, elevated, and perfected. This is a cosmos in which matter is eternal, consciousness is continuous, and every action, every choice, every touch, every creation resonates within a reality fully restored, fully optimized, and fully alive. With the restoration of the body to a glorified, indestructible state, human labor itself undergoes a profound transformation. Work, which in the conventional framework is often experienced as toil, obligation, or burden, is no longer merely a struggle against necessity or scarcity. In the context of the resurrected form, labor becomes pure creation, an unencumbered expression of intelligence, skill, and imagination. Each movement, each action, each exertion is no longer motivated by survival or fear, but by the joy of bringing something new into existence. The body, perfected and incorruptible, functions as an instrument perfectly aligned with consciousness, capable of executing complex tasks effortlessly, translating intention into form with unprecedented fidelity. Creativity becomes the natural state of existence, and work, far from being a cost or sacrifice, becomes a manifestation of intrinsic freedom and flourishing. In this paradigm, matter itself ceases to be an adversary, a resistant force that must be overcome or manipulated through effort and coercion. The physical world, informed by the principles of the glorified body, becomes a responsive partner, a collaborator attuned to human intention and capable of perfect feedback. Tools, materials, and even entire environments align with the will of the Creator, enabling the realization of ideas without the friction, inefficiency, or limitation that characterize ordinary labor. Matter becomes co-agent rather than obstacle. It responds to desire and thought, enhancing the capacity for innovation and expression. In this way, the resurrected human does not merely act upon the universe. The universe acts with the human, participating in a cooperative unfolding of potential. The boundary between subject and object, actor and medium, intention and execution dissolves, giving rise to a new form of co-creative existence. Consequently, the role of humanity itself is fundamentally redefined. To exist is no longer sufficient. To flourish is no longer simply to survive or to endure. Humans become co-creators of reality, actively shaping and harmonizing the cosmos. Individual creativity and universal restoration are intertwined. Every constructive action resonates outward, influencing the broader system and contributing to the continuity, stability, and beauty of the material world. Identity, history, and experience, the legacy of scars, memory, and consciousness inform each act, ensuring that creation is not arbitrary, but meaningful and coherent with the eternal narrative of the self and the cosmos. In this sense, the resurrected body exemplifies the principle that human purpose is inseparable from the ongoing perfection of the universe. Life is both lived and expressed as co-creation. This transformative vision extends naturally into the realm of action in the present. The discipline of the body, the cultivation of health, and the fortification of mental resilience are no longer ends in themselves, nor mere preparations for longevity or survival. They are the means by which the principles of the glorified form are instantiated in daily life. Physical training, dietary care, and disciplined practice become exercises in aligning the present self with a future potential that is continuous, coherent, and eternal. Every moment of attention, every deliberate act of care, strengthens the foundation for integration and continuity, allowing the body to function not as a fragile, temporary container, but as a robust instrument of ongoing participation in creation. In this way, present effort is transmuted into future manifestation. The notion of the eternal seed theology illuminates this principle further. Every action, no matter how small, is conceived as a seed planted into the continuum of reality. Each act of discipline, creation, or care contains within it the potential to bear fruit in the future. to manifest consequences, transformations, and expressions in reality long after the immediate moment has passed. Unlike the fear-driven pursuit of longevity, which seeks merely to extend the duration of existence, the eternal seed framework imbues each act with purpose, hope, and generative force. It reframes human activity as a conduit through which continuity, integrity, and meaning propagate across time and space. Actions are no longer isolated or transient. They are invested with the capacity to shape future realities, to perpetuate identity, and to participate in the ongoing evolution of the cosmos. This stands in stark contrast to the longevity movement of 2026. While contemporary biohacking, regenerative therapies, and life extension protocols aim primarily to resist decay and postpone death, they are fundamentally motivated by fear. Fear of cessation, fear of deterioration, fear of lost time. By contrast, the framework offered by the resurrected bodies and eternal seed theology is driven not by fear, but by hope and purpose. The aim is not merely survival or extended lifespan. It is the cultivation of continuity, coherence, and meaningful influence across time. Where longevity focuses on duration, eternal seed theology focuses on integration. Where longevity reacts to decay, eternal seed theology anticipates growth. Where longevity preserves life as a resource, eternal seed theology cultivates life as a vector of creation, restoration, and flourishing. The implications are profound for how humans conceive of responsibility, creativity, and meaning. Caring for the body, cultivating skill, and exercising intentional action are no longer self-contained tasks. They are investments in a future that is continuous with the present, inseparable from identity and history, and intertwined with the broader cosmos. The resurrected body functions as the interface between present effort and eternal consequence. Every exercise of discipline, every act of creation, every nurturing gesture carries forward into a reality that is both material and eternal, both tangible and infused with consciousness. In this way, the human being becomes a nexus of continuity, a living conduit through which the physical, temporal, and conscious dimensions of existence converge into coherent, enduring reality. Ultimately, the resurrected form and its principles transform the human relationship with time, matter, and purpose. Perfection is not measured in avoidance of aging, eradication of scars, or extension of life alone. It is realized through integration, continuity of self, harmonization with matter, and meaningful participation in the unfolding of reality. Labor becomes creation, matter becomes collaborator, and every action, physical, mental, or ethical, is invested with the potential to propagate through eternity. The individual is no longer isolated from the cosmos, but participates in its co-creation, and the universe itself becomes a canvas for the alignment of will, consciousness, and matter. The resurrected body exemplifies this principle: immortal yet dynamic, scarred yet perfected, material yet transcendent, fully human, and yet fully integrated with the eternal flow of creation. At the heart of this exploration lies a singular, transformative insight. Scars are not imperfections to be erased, nor memories to be discarded. They are marks of lived experience, preserved within the body, as enduring testimony to resilience, love, and choice. In a glorified form, these scars are elevated from mere physical traces to sacred symbols, proof that every act, every struggle, and every moment of vulnerability has contributed to the ongoing continuity of self. To honor them is to honor life itself, to recognize that the history embedded in matter is as essential as consciousness or identity. They remind us that perfection is not the absence of difficulty, but the capacity to carry history forward into eternity. This perspective demands a profound shift in how we understand the human body. It is no longer a temporary vessel, fragile and transient, subject to decay and limitation. Instead, it is the foundation of a living, eternal kingdom, a material anchor for consciousness, identity, and creative action. The body, when cared for and honored, becomes the interface through which the eternal expresses itself in the material world. Every choice to nourish, strengthen, and cultivate it is an investment not merely in health, but in legacy. It transforms ordinary living into a participatory act of creation, a way to embed meaning, beauty, and continuity into the fabric of reality itself. From this awareness emerges a call to action that is both intimate and cosmic. Care for your body with intention and love. Live not merely to survive, but to create, to engage, and to leave an enduring imprint on the world. Let your actions, whether small or great, be guided by purpose, compassion, and integrity, knowing that the echoes of your choices will reverberate far beyond the immediate moment. Every kind gesture, every disciplined practice, every mindful creation becomes a seed planted in the continuum of reality, destined to manifest in ways both visible and unseen, perpetuating life, meaning, and beauty. The scars, the experiences, and the labors of your life are not lost. They are woven into an ever-renewing tapestry of existence, sanctified and eternal. In embracing this vision, we step into a new paradigm of existence, one in which the human form, consciousness, and material reality are inseparably integrated, and where our contributions resonate into a restored eternal cosmos. Life, body, and matter are no longer disparate or fleeting. They are instruments of creation, memory, and continuity. Every moment becomes an opportunity to honor the self, to honor the body, and to participate in a reality that transcends time and decay. If this vision speaks to you, if it awakens a sense of possibility and purpose, take action today. Care for your body, nurture your mind, and cultivate your spirit. Engage in life with intention, creativity, and love. And for those who wish to continue exploring these ideas, reflecting on the intersection of biology, consciousness, and the eternal, I invite you to subscribe and follow the channel. By joining this community, you will not only gain access to insights, discussions, and inspiration, but also become part of a collective endeavor to cultivate a life of meaning, continuity, and transformative action. Together, we can honor the scars, embrace the bodies, and contribute to a reality where every good action, every creative impulse, and every conscious choice is preserved, celebrated, and woven into the fabric of a fully restored, eternal world.